Yep. So the recording start now. And another thing, I will just please, if you don't mind, I will mute all participants just to make sure during our conversation and discussion with Garima, because sometimes, some by mistake can unmute their mic or something without noticing this. So I will mute you all, but please feel free if you have any kind of question, just post it in the chat. And before the end of the session, we will make sure we will take most of your answers. So I will mute you all now. Okay. Ahmed, please, I muted you as well, and Garima, so can you please unmute yourself? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We are now ready to go.
Okay. Thank you, Mamdouh. Good evening, L&D Tribe community. We are so excited to have all of you in what promises to be an engaging and insightful session today. Today, we are honored to have Garima Gupta. Garima is the founder and CEO of Arthur Learning Incorporation. She brings a wealth of knowledge in different functions: learning and development, training, education, content creation, and digital marketing. Thanks for being with us today, Garima, and thanks for accepting our invitation today to share your insights and your practical experience.
Absolutely, it's a privilege.
To make most of this hour today, we will focus on leveraging the power of AI in creating better learning solutions. And we have prepared some questions that will be asked to Garima. And Garima, from her side, will answer this question by sharing her extensive experience. And please, like what Mamdouh have mentioned, if you have any question, please put them in the chat, and we'll try to do our best to answer all of these questions at the end of the session.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. And let's dive deep in the topics of today and the question that we are preparing for Garima. And to start off with our first question to you, Garima, can you please share with us some practical example of how AI can be integrated in learning solutions? I think our audience would love to hear about a real-world application and your own hands-on experience.
Absolutely. And hello and welcome, everybody. I didn't understand a word of the initial chit-chat, but I can confirm that I have nothing to do with crime or criminals. Okay, getting back to AI and L&D, there are a number of different. AI is like a superpower. It's like a Swiss Army knife. There is so much and so many different things that AI can do. And a lot of people are using it in a lot of different ways, right? So very naturally and very easily, what's coming to a lot of people is, oh, how can we use AI to do our own work better? So people are using it to generate text and images and assist with brainstorming and writing good assessment questions and writing good scenarios. And those are all great uses of AI, but they are very limited uses, right? So the examples I'm going to talk about is going to be a lot different, because I'm going to talk about how we can bring AI within the learning solutions and create absolutely new ways to support and serve our learners. An analogy that comes to my mind, in fact, sometimes when I talk about this, is imagine if somebody was used to the traditional landline phones, right? And now suddenly you give them a latest iPhone, right? What are they going to do with the iPhone? The first thing is they're going to still use it to make phone calls. Okay, so we're still going to use iPhone to make calls, and we're like, oh, this is cool, I can take my phone anywhere. Yes, but there is more things you can do with it. You can text. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, you can take pictures too, and it also works as an alarm, so on and so forth. The point being, with something as powerful as AI, we can think beyond what we've been using, the technology that we've been using today. So different ways it can be used. And the best way for me to explain that is to show you a few examples. So I am gonna just share my screen for a bit. Yeah. And these are just a few examples. Again, much like nobody uses all the functions of iPhone. In the same way, it's probably nobody needs to use all these functions, and there are more out there, but there will be something that might be most helpful to your context, your learners, your organizations, and that would be interesting. But the first thing that comes to my mind is answering questions, right? And imagine now you can have that within your learning module. So your learner is going through their own traditional learning, maybe e-learning, maybe in-person learning or a webinar. And now you can create a bot which answers any questions they might have on the go in the e-learning module. So far, we were forced to have e-learnings as an isolated experience, right? There is no way we can generate real data or answer somebody's question. In person, somebody can raise your hand. Here in webinar, you guys have question, you can put in the chat. How can somebody do that in an e-learning course? They cannot, but now they can. So we can have students say any topic, right? In this case, I've just taken United Nations SDGs, and you can ask any questions about SDGs here. So as a learner, I can say, why are they important? Or I can say, what are they? And I can ask any specific question, and AI will find the answer and get back to me, right? And this becomes very, very powerful because now we are creating this two-way communication. I can even choose a tone. Do you want a gentle, nice answer? Do you want AI to be snarky and funky? Let's do fun. Let's have AI answer in a snarky way, right? And this is built in Storyline, by the way. And we have connected the AI's API. We've created a middleware called AI Ready that allows us to bring AI directly within Storyline and directly within your LMSs, right? But you see here, AI has answered the question, and it has answered it in a funny, snarky manner. It's like ill-tempered. It's like, oh, whatever, oh, yet another person. And at the end of it, I'll give you guys a link to play with it yourself. But now, how does that changes the learning experience, right? Now the learner it's a two-way thing. It's now they're directly involved. This same technology can be used in so many different ways. You can create role plays. You can create, and there are other AI platforms that have like full-on role play simulation engines. But what I am showing is a low cost, do it yourself sort of method, because not everybody can get a $100,000 platform, and then you have to onboard all the employees and whatnot. But just connecting AI to your e-learning, there's so many things you could do. What else can I show you here? It can refer documents, right? So what you could do here is think beyond training and think on performance support. What if instead of just giving a one-time training or on compliance, on technical training, on onboarding, whatever, you create something now that your staff, your employees, your clients can get answers in real time based on your topic. So this one, for example, and it can read documents, your documents. That's the beautiful thing with AI, because then it cannot hallucinate. In this case, I've given it this document. See, like who can read something like this? And then if I ask any question here, it is going to read that document, right? And let us say, what are the battery specs, right? Now this question, if it didn't have access to the document, it cannot answer this question. What are the battery specs of what? Right? But because it can read the document, it comes back and gives me the details from the document. Another beautiful thing with AI that I especially want to talk about this group is instant translation. Now, you have this document in English. What if your staff is like, it doesn't make any sense to them, right? There is a language barrier there. What I could do here is I could simply tell AI, answer in Arabic. Right? Now you don't have to translate the whole document. And I actually very quickly made a demo for you guys this morning. I had this demo made for some other client, but here we're saying, ask me any questions about investing risk. And it's going to read this document, right, and answer. So, and I'm going to just ask a random question, right? Now, instead of just asking this question, I'm going to ask it to answer me in Arabic. And you guys will have to tell me, use your thumbs up or not. I don't know if it has thumbs down to tell me if the final answer is reasonable. Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
So many different sort of applications, right? If you are working with students, now we can have an application where it can read their essays and their text. So we don't always have to give multiple choice questions, right? And imagine how much load it will take away from the teachers if AI can give personalized feedback, right? And so as we are teaching students things, we are having them write and we are having AI give them personalized feedback based on a rubric, perhaps. So you could give AI, like I have thousands of examples, but you can give AI a full rubric that an instructor has made. And now based on that rubric, I create a mail. Now, let's say this is a cybersecurity course. There was no way before this I could have the learner write something and I cannot give feedback on that, right? As e-learning professionals, what was the best we could do? We could say, thank you for your input. Here is another input, compare it with you, right? That is the best thing. Who does that? Like the learner, if you're not reading my answer, why will I care to write an answer? But now, let's say this is, we copy a good email. We have said, okay, practice writing an email. So I write an email here, right? And now I send it to AI and AI will analyze this. And it will not just randomly analyze it. It will analyze it compared to the rubric that I had set, right? So then it is checking me on every single criteria of that rubric, and then it's giving me an overall feedback. The point being, AI, LLMs, ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, whatever you're using, they are just vehicles. Now, on top of those foundational vehicles, we as learning designers, we get to build. We get to build interactions and activities that will take the learner beyond, right? Because learning science has not changed, right? We still learn the same way. Our brains function the same way. But what AI is able to do is give us just different ways we can support that learning science. I can keep talking about it, so you'll have to stop me, Mohammed.
Perfect, perfect. It's really very interesting, Garima, that you really started by the analogy of the iPhone, which was very interesting and very good introduction to the topic. And what really the AI is doing right now beyond our usual day-to-day experiences. It's completely changed our experience and how we are experiencing things. This is one of the things that really highlighted and one of the key messages that you already mentioned. The whole new possibilities that AI can give to us, really, from translation, from analysis, from a lot of different things that we can do and get benefit from using the AI. The ease of use of AI, the saving the time and the effort that we use when we are using whatever the software or the application of the AI. One of the things that really you end your answer for this question is whatever the AI will support us in our day-to-day experience, we need to have a sense of control of what is coming out from AI. And this is, I think, very important, and you will agree with me a lot. And thank you so much for sharing such examples and practical insights. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, absolutely, control is really important, and
Yeah.
how we implement, how we use AI is equally important because, as I said, it's like, it can do a whole lot of things. As you said, it can do analysis, it can write, it can generate text, it can read and respond to answers. Now, as AI is improving day by day at an unbelievable speed. We have multimodal chatbots and whatnot. So there's a whole lot it can do. So the onus is on us to say what is going to help our learners and what is going to help us as professionals, and how do we leverage it best.
Absolutely, absolutely. Moving to other point, Garima, when it comes to the implementation of the AI in learning and development, for sure, we as a learning and development professional will encounter some challenges, to be honest, definitely. Would you please share with us some of the biggest challenges you have encountered and how did you overcome them, please?
Oh, my pleasure. So starting from November of 2022, when this thing was launched, we've been doing a number of different experiments, and we've been working with our clients. We do AI workshops for L&D teams as well. So throughout all these conversations, there are a number of challenges that sort of surface. The first one, and the biggest one I see, the common thread across, like we can talk about a number of different challenges, but the common thread, first of all, is mindset, right? Because this really requires us to shift our mindset on how we have been doing things and how AI can support and enhance the learning experience. Because the first reaction a lot of us have, and it's a fair reaction, is fear, honestly, fear of replacement, fear of what's going to happen to my role, fear of how is this going to change the field. And it will, mark my words, it will definitely change. Everybody knows AI is going to change stuff. Nobody knows how. Nobody knows how. So everybody's kind of, I think there is that mindset thing, that growth mindset, where we need to sort of enhance our own skill set. We need to educate our team members. We need to educate the stakeholders. In fact, if you honestly ask me, I would say this is a golden time for L&D. We are being called to arms, people, because now everybody needs training on AI. So far, training and L&D and learning always used to say, nobody cares for us, or we are a cost center, or we have to prove our ROI. Now here is our chance to prove ROI to the whole organization, because sales needs AI training, marketing needs AI training, products need AI training, HR needs AI training, everybody does. So there is that bringing this. So I think upskilling ourselves is a big challenge. Now, apart from all of that, there are some inherent challenges with using AI, right? Data security, privacy, integration with existing systems. Now, it's interesting because every single tool is increasing its subscription cost, because every single tool is now AI enabled. You talk about Articulate, you talk about Canva, you talk about Beyond, every single tool will say, oh, we are integrating AI and therefore the cost is rising. Ultimately, how many products can you subscribe to, right? So integration with existing systems makes a lot of sense. Ultimately, there has to be a consolidation, and that can be challenging. Ethical considerations are there. There's a lot of discussion about bias, fairness, and I can freely speak in this group. A lot of content that AI is trained on is Western oriented, right? So, so we will find as we work with AI is that there is a gap between what we need AI, what we need from AI, and what it gives, because there is that gap on how it is being trained. So measuring that gap, minding that gap, filling that gap with human content becomes important. So having that sort of critical thinking, those are new skills. We were not required to do that a year ago. So I think challenges, Mohammed, when you ask me about challenges, they are so multifold and multidimensional. But they're also the same challenges are opportunities.
Exactly, exactly. And actually, I think that these kind of challenges, if we are accepting and fostering these kind of challenges with the growth mindset that you mentioned, I think we will learn, we will do mistakes, we will fail, but we will learn on the go. So this, I think, the key message from this, because challenges is everywhere, not only in AI. So as long as we are moving in the journey, we are learning from mistakes and we are developing and improving our skills to know how to deal with AI. That's amazing and interesting to hear how you have navigating and approached these challenges. So
right, and nobody is better to do it than L&D, right? We've been talking about adult learning. We've been talking about upskilling rest of the team and organization. So it is now time for us to upskill ourselves. So first of all, I have to say, great job, everybody who's come to this webinar and who's organizing this webinar, because that is also, right, being aware, that's the first step to navigate that challenge.
yes, and I think you mentioned one good words, which is this is a golden time for learning and development. So we need to have this kind of mindset that embrace this golden time and embrace these challenges and try to really understand how we can change or transform these challenges to opportunities, as you mentioned. Perfect. So now we talked about the challenges. We need to really also get the benefit or get your hands-on experience about what are the key benefits of using AI in L&D compared to the available traditional method, because we used to use traditional method for years now. But now
Yes.
when AI come on the platform as a platform, we need to know what are the key benefits that you see during using AI in L&D.
Absolutely. And there are just so many. So I'm going to try and narrow it down a little bit. And when I think about how can we use AI in L&D, AI integration in L&D, bringing AI all the way to our learners, because as I said, there are two ways you can use AI. The first thing is, we can make it to, we can use it ourselves to make our job faster or maybe better. I don't know. But you are using ChatGPT yourself in the background. Maybe you're creating images with Midjourney or whatever. That's one thing. But when we integrate AI, we bring it to the learners themselves so that we have these AI enhanced role plays or ask an expert or auto assessments or any of the various ways we can use AI. The first benefit we get is uber personalization, because so far we could not have personalized content. Like we did it in gimmicky ways, right? We would make learner personas. Maybe people can pick one out of 2 or 3 options. Maybe there was very little that we could really do in terms of personalization without subscribing to or going on these humongous adaptive learning platforms. But now you could personalize to each single individual because you have AI in the background. So that now we have a real shot on actually helping every single learner. People talk about accessibility, and I think AI is such a gift for accessibility for diverse and inclusive learners, because I can understand each single individual. I can respond to what they have written. I can look at using AI all the different, so maybe there's a 20-question quiz. I can see how they did the quiz and use some analytics and say, oh, this person requires more focus on this topic, and give them absolutely adaptive, personalized recommendations. So that one, definitely efficiency, scalability, like the benefits with in-person training versus online learning were always online learning would win in scalability, right? And lose in interaction and connection. But now we can build that interaction connection at a scale. You can create a coach, a communications coach, and you can give it to every single learner in your company, not just your C-level executives. So everybody can try, and they can try endlessly, because this AI coach is trained. Let's say all your sales team gets access to an AI coach, because it is now possible. So they can keep on practicing, and this becomes scalable. So the efficiency, scalability, the cost reduction of training is huge. The real-time feedback that people get, that really builds up engagement. And we've seen, in fact, engagement increase only by saying, hey, this will give you feedback, which is specific. People will try again and again because they want to beat the AI. They want to say, oh, what will it do if I say this? What will it do if I say this? And for years, forever, we've been like, oh my God, learners don't engage with our content. Well, now they are over engaging with the content because they're like, oh, I'm going to beat this AI, or I'm going to try this and try that. And in the process, they learn. So there's a lot of benefits to be had once you master the tech, once you figure out how you could bring AI in your online learning. You could scale it, you could personalize it, you could make it adaptive. And the best thing is, as learning designers, you have control. So you could design the interaction knowing who your learner, because nobody knows the needs better than you do, right? It is your organization. Those are your learners. These are your problems. You cannot expect some third-party platform provider to create a scenario that will exactly work in your situation. But you can, right? Except you need the tech. So far, this tech was limited to only huge organizations who would use it to market us on Amazon, right? They had that AI capability to personalize the advertisements to us, the online ads. Now we have the technology to personalize the learning for our learners.
Yeah. And believe me, one of the main challenges was me before now having this AI different tools for me in the L&D, which is the personalization. I was always keen to make this kind and to personalize my learning experience or my learning design to different type of peoples, and to individualize my learning experience was a huge pain for me. But after AI, yes, I can't agree more that it's now become more easier. And no, now AI is my companion in doing something like this and help me to get this kind of personalization based on my needs and the learner expectation as well. No one really can deny, Garima, that AI brings great power. However, with great power comes great responsibility. And you mentioned previously in your previous question about the ethical consideration that we need to consider when we deal with AI. So my question to you is, how do you approach ethical considerations of using AI in education and training programs, particularly in areas like bias, fairness, privacy and security, and accessibility?
Yeah, Mohammed, thank you for asking that question, because that's a really important question. And it's one that requires careful thought, right? Especially because AI systems like these large language models, they can sometimes feel like black boxes because we can't see inside them. We cannot change how they work. We don't know how they are trained. And honestly, hardly anybody does. So what can we do about bias and fairness if we cannot even look inside the technology that we are using? A lot, actually. So it's crucial that we analyze and use these systems carefully. We ensure that there are guardrails in place, which is why I especially like the AI integration in e-learning, because then you're saying, okay, ask me any question about this specific thing, and I'm going to answer in this way. We are not just throwing our learners to ChatGPT and say, ask whatever or do whatever. No, we have guardrails in place. This is an experience that is still designed by an instructional designer who knows what we need to teach, that AI is still answering from documents. So there is some sort of guardrail because we need to be really careful. Second thing, we need to be careful about our own prompts, because even if we can't control how these LLMs are trained and what they say, their output, we know, heavily depends on the input. So if you're going to input a biased prompt, like let's say you say, why are younger employees less reliable? Now, AI is going to answer in ways of like, yeah, younger employees are less reliable because of X, Y, and Z reasons. You are getting a biased response that is reinforcing that misconception. So making sure that your prompts are good. The third thing is, regardless of that, it is absolutely essential to have human oversight to confirm the outputs, to include disclaimers. Let's say you've put a AI system, making sure you have people know that they are interacting with an AI and there is potential for errors or biases, so they can flag if they encounter any issues. So those things are important with um, with any AI implementation, because we know that AI can be sometimes inherently biased. Accessibility, inclusivity, especially important for non-Western users, I think. Accessibility, I feel AI is going to, in the long term, actually help, because as we create images and content on it, and it is getting better and better in creating things that are accessible by default, right? And then we can use multimodal things. So we can create things like voice recognition, screen readers, customizable interfaces that can accommodate various accessibility needs. But inclusivity, culturally being sensitive, avoiding any form of discrimination or exclusion, those are things that requires human oversight every single time, because we cannot be sure AI will get it right. It is such a nuanced thing. So having auditing, I think. So if you're looking at integrating AI in some way in your organization, then making sure that there is a way you could audit what AI is saying or responding, so that you can keep a tab on that and fix things. We've done implementations for our clients where the student writes something, they get an AI response, because the AI response is personalized, they're getting feedback, it's very helpful. At the same time, they say, here is the teacher's response. So in case the AI response is in any way biased or mistaken or erroneous, there is the expert's response for the student to compare with as well. So we're not taking that away, we are adding only, right? We are not removing the human element. We cannot remove the human element. So, and then there are deeper ethical questions around copyrights. So if you are using things like AI generated images that are being trained on work of artists, and those artists are not being compensated, then is it ethical? And then those questions are being debated live all the time. This is like flying a plane while building it. There is so much happening on a day-to-day basis. On a personal level, our team prefers to use Claude over ChatGPT, because we have known Claude to be a more reliable, a more ethically conscious LLM, right? So there is that. But I think being aware of how we are also a part of that equation is the first line of defense, both
Absolutely.
from the prompting side and then from checking what the output is and is it balanced.
Yeah, Yani, really, Garima, you said it all, because auditing and humor oversight is something very, very important, because now people are using AI from different parts of the world. So maybe if we are saying that this is something ethical in the Middle East, maybe it's not ethical in US or Canada or Europe or whatever. So I think the auditing and the really human oversight, we need to check, and each and every output comes out from the AI to see how much it validated and how much it's ethical to be used in specific countries. And really, ethics is certainly a crucial aspect, Garima. But when we come to for those in our audience who are just starting in exploring AI technologies and different platforms for their learning solutions, what kind of advice or guidance, if you can say, would you give to us as a learning and development professional when it comes to using these huge emerging technologies of AI?
Well, the first thing I will say is just make sure you are open to trying things out and have the attitude of an explorer, right? instead of guarding yourself against what this technology is not going away. This is changing the way we will work. 100% sure, right? How depends. What role will we have to play on it? Depends. But there are, one is of course doing the tech, getting comfortable with it. Two is working on your own human specific skill set, right? So only, as I was saying earlier, only you know your learners best. You can do the needs analysis best. You can do the data analysis and understand the intelligence from the data best. You know how that topic makes sense and can be connected to the learners. So yes, AI can help you there, but it cannot replace your understanding. So building on that, I think, is going to be a very, very important skill for people. When it comes to getting used to or learning AI, I think people with AI skill set will have such a lag over people who are not skilled in AI use, right? As an organization, I can tell you now that we hire people, we are already, it's a standard part of our hiring process where we assess how AI savvy they are. And this is going to happen because if I am AI savvy, it's like I have a power tool. And if you're not, then you don't have that power tool. I can do things much faster and better than you with the help of AI. So making sure you start, experimenting with it, start small. A number of our subscribers are people who are creating their portfolios and they want to build AI-enabled activities because that will be such a differentiator in long term. If these are things that usually people still cannot create, right? They cannot create a AI role play or a AI answer generator. So these are things where if you bring them in your organizations, you will be invaluable, right? Because you are solving real people's real problems. I was chatting with this person in conference recently in Toronto, and she said, Garima, you guys do such a lot of custom content generation. Tell me, how can I make my micro-learning better? We've created this micro-learning courses. People are not required to take them, but they're really, really helpful. And people drop off after first or second module, and we just don't know what to do to keep them for the whole. They had a set of 10 modules. So I asked them general questions like, okay, how long are they? 5 to 6 minutes, great. Are they interactive? Yes. Are they engaging? Yes. They have video? Yes. What can I do else? Then my question to her was, do you even know if people need training? People want training, or do they want answers? Because if they want answers, they're not going to sit through your even micro learning. Exactly. All they need is an answer. So creating a chatbot, if you are the person who can create a chatbot that can just answer somebody's question, then you have a unique skill set among the rest of the team. So that is important. One thing that I also, we have a team of about 15 to 20 instructional designers that I personally train, and of course they work on our projects. And I tell them this analogy I think will be useful for people new to AI. Think about using a car to get somewhere. How much do you need to know about the car? Do you need to know about the physics of motion, about how the engine works, about what is the chemical composition of the fuel? Not really. You need to know where you're going. You need to know how to drive the car. But if you know a little bit about the what is under the hood, how to change the tire, it's probably a good idea. It will help you. I know my husband would love if I know that, but I don't. But I know how to drive the car and get to my final place. Using AI to get to somewhere, first of all, you need to know where are you going? What is your purpose? What are you trying to achieve? And then how to use AI to get there. Now, beyond that, if you learn a little bit about the language of AI, what are tokens? What is prompt? What is prompt engineering? This is going to help you make good use of that AI to get to your place much better. So learning about the technicalities of AI is a good idea, but don't get lost in it. You are not an AI or an ML engineer. You need to know how to use these technologies to serve your learner, to support your learner. So that's another reason why we created AI ready, because like most learning engineers will not know how to use an API, put in storyline, create these activities, but they will know the value of it if they can make it, and they should be able to make it because it's now possible. But they are not technical experts. So we take that upon us, but you can create the instructional part of it. So sorry for the long-winded answer. I probably should have stuck to 3 or 4 bullet points, but that's how my brain thinks about it.
Great,
yeah,
thank you
and then
so
I can.
much. Yeah, great, and thanks for sharing this. This is really useful for us to know this. And at the end of the day, AI is here to stay, Garima. Yani, no one can really challenge this. So whether it's our chance, whether to embrace it or we will be left behind, simply.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I really would like to remind all our participants to write down any question you have so we can address them before the end of our session. And as we are approaching the end of our session today, one last question, please, before taking the question from the participant, Garima. Because after everything we have discussed so far, each one of us will leave with different perspectives on the future of AI, to be honest. Some will be optimistic and enthusiastic, others will be skeptical and cautious, and some may even feel fear and distrust. We will have different perspectives. So as we look to the future, what kind of emerging AI trends do you think will have the most significant impact on learning and development?
Now, honestly, this is probably the toughest question of all, because you're asked, like, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. As I said earlier, everybody knows. Everybody can say with 100% confidence that AI will change things. Nobody knows how. But here, like from my perspective and me being plugged into a lot of AI conversations around, I think one thing we're going to see is right now, a lot of people are experimenting with AI solutions in different ways. There's going to be a consolidation of those solutions. There are going to be a few tools that will emerge that will be, that will turn into our default tools. We are going to see more AI-powered adaptive learning. Now, whether you use a custom adaptive platform or whether you create it yourself in your current LMS, there is going to be adaptive learning because learners are going to expect that from us. They are going to expect better quality. They are going to have even less patience for things that don't really that are not relevant to them. I can bet on multimodal solutions, which means that our learners are going to expect that they speak and the training module speaks back to them, right? I could ask a question and AI answers it to me in my language and speaks to me. And that's especially going to be very, very helpful for mobile learners. So we already have a solution that we created where you could talk and AI responds back, but there is a delay, and that delay is going to become lesser and lesser as AI models improve. We're going to see AI in learning analytics. We are going to see AI in content creation. Content creation, already we have so much. We have AI generated avatars, we have AI generated video, images, but this is what I'm afraid of. As learning professionals, we know, for example, that talking heads are not a good idea, right? Nobody wants to hear somebody talking for a long, long time. And yet, most of the AI video creation is talking heads and not even a real person. Now you have to hear an AI avatar talk. So being careful around that, I think we will see all these little tools come up, and then it will be the task of learning designers like yourselves to see what really supports the learner. I'm going to see a lot of discussion and consolidation on ethics as well, Mohammed, based on the question you asked earlier. There's going to be a lot more clarity, I guess, in time on that.
So let's wait and see and keep learning, simply. Okay, so since we have only 12 minutes before ending our session with you, which we don't want to end our session actually with you and gaining a lot of insights and experience from you, I think, Ahmed, I'm seeing a lot of questions and messages coming in the chat and popping up. So can you share with us some of the questions that our participants put in the chat, please?
Yes, Mamdouh, we have a lot of questions, Garima. First one from Rami. He asking about the power of AI and the capabilities of AI. Does it give developmental feedback? I do believe it's related to the part that you have shared, some capabilities about the AI, like analysis and how can AI give us context. Yes, please
Yeah,
share your insight.
absolutely. And yes, it can give development feedback, and it is actually very good at giving developmental feedback. In fact, I always train my clients not to use AI for summative feedback. Like, don't use it to give final pass or fail. Use it for developmental feedback because it explains so well. And actually, I'm going to take this opportunity to show you guys something. So we have a role play with feedback example here, where if you we're training somebody for an interview, right? Let's say we are training them for graphic designer role. It could be anything. It could be instructional designer. Let's make it instructional designer, right? And now you can start an interview practice and see I can now do this at scale, as I was saying. So how are you doing today? Let's say, I am good. How are you? I'm a very bad typer. So I want to show you how this will give developmental feedback at the end, right? It's going to require me to write. Can you tell me about your more recent date? Project. I'm just gonna be a little silly here. I created videos. So you see how it keeps responding to what I'm writing, right? These are really good questions, by the way. I asked, and I'm writing really bad answers. Please don't judge me. After the lesson. Okay, so on and so forth. Now I'm going to get feedback. It's going to take a minute. It will analyze every single discussion and give me like good feedback on how the whole conversation went. How can I have improved? They did not explain how they developed this. This lack of elaboration suggests a potential weakness, and they would benefit from providing more specific and detailed answers. Then I can, in fact, see how my vocabulary was as well, get suggestions. It is even giving me examples. Instead of saying this, say this. How personalized is this, guys? Right? How impactful would this be?
Yes.
So
Very nice.
Yeah, so short answer, Remy, yes, it does, and it does it very, very well.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Garima, and thank you, Rami, for asking this question. Garima, we still have 3 questions. I do believe we can give 2 minutes for each one. The second one from Ahmed Ibrahim. He asking about being overwhelmed by different AI tools. And he asked from where we can start. Can I start from books, courses, certificates? Please give us guidance about how can we start to explore the power of AI and leveraging the power of using AI.
I so feel you. It is really, there is no easy answer to this. There is a lot happening every day. Even people like us who are very much plugged into AI at a technical level, even it's getting hard to keep up. However, it's not impossible. And one thing is, to be aware that it is not possible to keep up with everything. So what I like to do is I would try one new AI tool. I pretty much every month or every 2 weeks if something really good comes out. When Sora came out, I was like, oh my God, I got to try it right away. But so that kind of keeps my FOMO in check, fear of missing out. Otherwise I was like, what am I missing out? But for most people who don't have to be as plugged in AI as we do, I would suggest just kind of maybe subscribe to a few newsletter of AI thought leaders. We have our own newsletter that's more L&D focused than AI, but we do cover AI a little bit every time. Dr. Philippa Hardman does a great job. Her newsletter is something I can absolutely stand behind. She does a great job of explaining. There are other thought leaders in the industry, Josh Cavalier being one, Engel being another one. So maybe follow a few of them as well. There, unfortunately, or I think probably obviously, there is no book that I would recommend on AI. This thing is moving too quickly for a book. We are going to be coming out with a prompt engineering course very soon that will explain AI from ground up, but it's not out yet. So I'm afraid I cannot offer that to you. It's going to be a free course just because, I get these kind of questions often. So we're working on a course for L&D. But if you follow me on LinkedIn, whenever it is out, I will post it there for sure.
By the way, we would like to tell you that we shared the old profile of Garima on LinkedIn on the chat, and the website of Arthur Learning Inc. on the chat as well. If you want to really subscribe in her newsletter, you can go to her website and can subscribe in the newsletter. And this will help you because newsletters are everywhere, but you will rarely find a newsletter that's dedicated for learning and development. So I do encourage you to really go to the website, explore the website for the Arthur Learning Inc. and discover all the services that they are served. And you can get in touch with Garima on her LinkedIn. I think we have a space for one more question, Ahmed.
Yes. We have two questions, but I'll ask you one question, Garima, because it's almost 4 minutes, and we will end up our session now. Ali asked about an important topic that you have shared a lot of insights about it, the ethical part. Is it possible for teachers to detect that this content, it's an AI content created?
This is such a cat and mouse game. There is, ChatGPT comes out, then GPT-0 comes out that allows you to check it. And then it's funny because we say, oh, now you can use AI to assess student answers, but students are using AI to generate those answers. So AI is writing the question, AI is answering them, then AI is assessing them. Where is the human in all of this? Unfortunately, this is going to stay a cat and mouse game. There are AI engines now that write like humans so that people don't get caught. There are there are a number of different plagiarism tools that are trying to step up their game, but it's not by any means quite there. There is some easy ways I look for it. Like when we get, say, resumes and cover letters and stuff, and I also used to teach, my husband teaches as well in a college, there's some, like you can read and you can tell that this is written by AI. For example, AI loves to use word delve. Let's delve into this. Now delving into this. So I was like, okay, if anything has the word delve, it is AI written. So extremely non-scientific answer to your very, very important question. There is work happening and different organizations are working on this. I think this will stay a cat and mouse game because as AI detectors improve, AI chatbots improve as well. So there is not going to be a confirmed thing anytime soon. I think teachers need to change their assessment techniques. That is the only durable answer to this. Have the learners, have students access ChatGPT, in fact, as a tool, and then ask them, okay, what did you think about the ChatGPT response to this and have them critically analyze that. Sorry, I wish there was a better answer.
Thank you, Garima. It's a better
Thank you.
answer. And again, thank you, Garima, for being with us today and for accepting our invitation. It was a very insightful session. And thank you again for being open with us to share your practical experience and your wealth of knowledge. And we wish to have you more and more in our L&D tribe community. Thank you, all of you, for being with us today, and see you again, inshallah, in our next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, everybody. Thank you for giving me 1 hour of your evening. Have a lovely evening ahead, and connect with me on LinkedIn if you like.
Thank you so much, Garima. Thank you. Bye. See you all.
Bye.
Bye.